guys, how are you? I hope you're fine. I hope you're amazing. Thank you for stopping by and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case you're new here, karibu sana and subscribe to stay on tuned. In case you're a returning subscriber, thank you and feel always welcome because this is the right place and space to be. So on my previous video which I did, which is a series of intentional living, on the first video of the intentional living, I did a video on the Stoic concept of memento mori, which there's a part 1 and part 2. So if you've not watched, kindly go back and start on the intentional series part 1 so that you'll be able to connect on these videos as they come. So on those two videos, which are about memento mori, if you've not watched, memento mori is basically a Stoic concept that is basically practiced by the Stoics, and it means remember that you will die. And I got quite positive reactions from the video, which I did not expect, and from the positive reactions and comments I got from the video, so I decided to do that video of the same. And it's quite a coincidence because I was reading a book here by Michael Singer. It's called The Untethered Soul, and on chapter 17, the topic of this book, chapter 17, it's called Contemplating Death. So I found quite a coincidence on the same, and so I decided that this is what I'm going to share on this video because it's quite related, and then I also found it very insightful, and so this is the reason why I am sharing this, and I hope that you will enjoy this video. So on that chapter, which is about contemplating death, well, like I said in the very first video, I know that the topic of death is a very sensitive topic to talk about, especially in our society. But then, if you want to understand life, you have to read through and understand death. You cannot appreciate life if you do not acknowledge that death is there. And actually on the same in that chapter, there's somewhere I read that it was written, you fear death because you crave life. You fear death because you crave, you're going to miss out on something. There's something you're ready to do. That is why you're afraid of death, because you're craving living. You're still feeling like there are things you need to do, and you'll miss out on what is happening. You're going to miss out on the occurrences of life. And on the same, it shows that the author wrote that one of the paradox is that death is one of the best teachers in life. Just like I had said, if you want to understand life, you have to understand death. It's only by understanding death that you will be able to understand and appreciate life. And a wise person knows that death could happen at any moment and in anywhere. And if you're a wise person, you get to understand that you embrace the reality, the inevitability, and the unpredictability of death. Like, it's just basically the Stoicism concept, memento mori. Death could happen at any moment. You could live life at any moment. And anytime you're having trouble with something, think of death. A wise person affirms that if with one breath all this can change, then I am going to live to the highest level when I am still alive. If you understand that memento mori, you could live life at any moment, then you will appreciate every minute, every second, every hour. You will live presently. The concept of memento mori helps you to appreciate the current moment. You appreciate every encounter you have with someone. You appreciate every conversation you have with someone. You appreciate every work you're doing, everything you come across, because you could leave it at any moment. And a wise person affirms that I am going to live life from the deepest part of my being. And the author says that death is not a morbid thought, it is the greatest teacher of life. So you should not be afraid of thinking about it or even talking about it, because it's the greatest teacher of life. Live life as if you are going to die soon, and you have to be willing to look at what it would be like if death was staring you in the face. I feel like as human beings, we keep thinking about death as something that is so far, like it could happen in the near future, but we do not think of something that could happen at any time. And that is why you find that, imagine today you went perhaps to the hospital, and then you're told like you have 3 months to live. Like, it becomes a reality. You begin to imagine your own mortality, and then within that period you begin to do things that you've never really done, things that you have been postponing. Like, you're no longer afraid of anything, because you know you do not have the luxury of time. You treasure that time. If it's the 3 months, you can have achieved a lot in the 3 months. If there's something you ever wanted to do, somewhere you wanted to travel, you want to, it now becomes a priority. You want to live life fully at that moment. And you'll find that in some of the books. I think there's a story, I'll confirm later, I think I'll do it in the next video or something, but I know there's a story about someone who had been given a cancer scare, and then after being given a cancer scare, they were given perhaps, I don't know, a few months to live, and within that time they really wrote a book, did what. Yeah, and also another book that really embraces mortality is When Breath Becomes Air by Dr. Paul Kalanithi. Though in the book, in that book, he wrote When Breath Becomes Air, he actually didn't finish, but it's quite a sad book, because it tells the story of a young neurosurgeon, or a very young neurosurgeon, maybe in the 30s or something, and in the sense that today he's a doctor saving lives, and then tomorrow he's a patient on his deathbed fighting for his life. And he writes a book in the midst of it, how how coming into terms with his mortality changed his entire outlook about life. It changed how he perceived life, and it basically documents about his last days of living, and even welcoming his child, etc. So it's a book that challenges you to think of life as something that is not permanent, and be able to live presently in the moment. I love that book, When Breath Becomes Air by Dr. Paul Kalanithi. So back to contemplating death. So you must not be afraid to discuss death. Do not get uptight about it, and let the knowledge of death help you to live every moment fully, for every moment matters. So death changes everything in a flash. You're going to die, everything will be taken from you, you'll be taken right out of where you are. That is the reality of the situation. Maybe you should look deeper into who you are. So today you might have everything, basically all the material things, but thinking of it in the sense that one day you will be taken from where you are, you will not be there. Everything you own, you're just a custodian, whether it's material things, whether they're children, you're just custodians of them. You'll be taken from that space. So as much as we are looking to gather and acquire much more, we ought to look deeper within, to get in touch with our inner selves. What is it? Who am I? Get to know yourself at an inner level, because at the end of the day, you need to look deeper into who you are, regardless of your career, regardless of what you own, regardless of your status. There's that thing, like, you need to look deeper into yourself and discover who you are. And the beauty of embracing deep truths is that you do not have to change your life, you just change how you live your life. So when you embrace deeper truths like understanding memento mori, you don't need to change your life or anything, you just change how you appreciate life. I've come to realize understanding concepts like death, like understanding things like memento mori, it gives you a certain perspective about life, which which enables you to live a very beautiful life. You're able to appreciate the people in your life, whether it's your family, your friends. Every moment you spend with them, you cherish it, because you never know, it could be your last. So understanding the concept of memento mori, you're able to appreciate people, treat other people well, appreciate nature, appreciate the animals, appreciate the clouds, the rain, the universe, yeah, and any little thing. Appreciate the scent of the roses, the smell of the morning coffee, the aroma of the food. Basically, you're in touch with the present, you're in touch with whatever is happening now, and you appreciate it as it comes. And start using every day to let go of the scared part of you that prevents you from living life fully. Say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done. So by understanding and contemplating death, you're able to let go of your fears, you're able to discuss what you want to discuss, tell people what they need to hear, and just live life as it comes without fearing. And you say what needs to be said. If you want to appreciate people, you do not postpone, appreciate them as they existing. If you want to say things, discuss certain topics with people, discuss and let it be, and do what needs to be done. The other also says, learn to live life as if you're facing death at all times, and you will become bolder and more open. If you live fully, you won't have any last wishes. So if you live fully, because imagining every day, knowing that, understanding the concept that you could live life at any moment, it helps you to embrace yourself fully and live fully, because you live every day as it comes. You appreciate the rising sun, you are overjoyed by the sunset, and you do not postpone important things. You handle them as they come, and you live as if you had that diagnosis that you'll be gone. You're able to live fully. Basically, what gives life meaning is a willingness to live it. Life is not something you get, it's something you experience. It exists with or without you. So life is the experience between the time you were born and the time you die. That, or in between that season, is an experience you live in. And whether you're there, you are not, life will still continue. Death is such a great teacher. It makes life precious. Death gives life meaning. Death is your friend. Death is your liberator. Do not be afraid of death. Try to learn what it's saying to you. You fear death because you crave life. People feel death will take something away from them. The wise realize in the end, life belongs to death. Death comes in his own time to take life from you. He's the landlord and you're the tenant. So we're living on borrowed time from death. So establish a healthy relationship with death and do not fear it. Death is the ultimate reality of life, and great beings do not mind speaking about death. So I know, like we had said, it's really a crazy topic to talk about it. Sometimes there are many myths that if you talk about it, it's going to happen or something. But in the end, what is really amazing is that it's an eventuality that we know we'll meet as humans. But if you understand that memento mori, that will enable you to appreciate time, appreciate every moment, give the best of yourself to the world, leave no stone unturned. It will help you find your purpose in life, embark on that journey to find who are you, because you're not here in this life to merely exist. You're not placed on this planet just to live life as a routine. Wake up, go to school, go to work, come back, cook, eat. No, you have a purpose in life, and the moment you understand that life is an experience, your time here on earth is limited, you're going to want to find which is your purpose. You crave to find which is your purpose, and once you begin a journey to identify your purpose, there's no going back. Great beings don't mind speaking about death. Remember the frailty of the body and the inevitability of death. Every minute you're a step closer to death. Live life as though you are on the verge of death, because you are. I'm going to wrap this video up here, and just to remind you, live life presently, because in the end, memento mori. So remember that you will die, and so you must live. Go out there from today, begin to live. Sit down, contemplate about your life, begin to look deeper into yourself, begin to find meaning in life, begin to find joy, happiness in life. I have this habit of every morning before I leave my house, I look into my mirror. I have to remind myself, you could live life at any moment. Go out there, give the best to yourself, spread your positivity, spread your positive energy, absorb the positive energy, find the joy, create joy. Go out there and live life. Every minute counts, every second counts, every hour counts. And once you adopt that mindset, you learn to appreciate life, because we cannot appreciate life until we understand that death exists. Death is what makes life precious, because if we had the surety that we are going to live forever, we would not really appreciate life. Like, we'll just be, you can do anything you want, because after all, nothing will happen. We will be there. We'll be there over and over again. We'll always be there living here. So what makes something precious? It's because it is rare. Once you know that something is rare, you get to treasure it. So understand that time is rare, life is rare, and that is why it is so precious. It is so precious. Go live out. Go live life fully. Chase your dreams. Find your purpose. Appreciate the world and spread your colors in the universe. Wrapping it up there. My name is Ms.Matheri, and this is a Ms.Matheri show.